Moving on, and voting has now closed in the Labour Party's leadership election. The ballot officially ended at 12 o'clock today. Leader Jeremy Corbyn has thanked his supporters, saying, "Together we are very, very strong." Challenger Owen Smith said Labour was at a crossroads between gaining power and facing ongoing opposition. The result will be announced on Saturday at the Labour Party conference in Liverpool. Well, let's get more on this now with our chief political correspondent, John Craig, who's in Westminster. Good afternoon, John. So I think everyone's expecting, aren't they, Mr Corbyn to win this?
Certainly, most MPs believe that Mr Corbyn will win pretty handsomely. The big question is, will he do better or not so well as he did round about this time last year? He got just under 60% of the vote last year. This time, well, John McDonnell, his campaign chief and his closest ally, has perhaps been trying to manage expectations, saying it'll be difficult for him to do better than he did last year. Mr Owen Smith, well, some MPs think he's fought a rather lacklustre campaign, only really came to life towards the end. If Mr Corbyn wins big and has a bigger majority than he did last time, well, his position is strengthened enormously.
And John, where does this leave the parliamentary party?
Well, yesterday, Tom Watson, the Deputy Leader, was talking about putting the band back together. He wants to do a deal whereby at least some, if not all, of the shadow cabinet are elected. Now, minutes after Jeremy Corbyn handed out his favourite biscuit, shortbread, to members of the NEC at that marathon meeting last night, the result of the meeting, the outcome, looked rather like a fudge, because what's going to happen is that there are going to be further talks about elections to the shadow cabinet over the next few days. They will involve Mr Corbyn, his staff, Mr Watson, the Chief Whip, Rosie Winterton, and representatives of the PLP. But as for the band coming back together, well, there's more discord than harmony, because Owen Smith, in his final parting shot, has basically given yet another snub to Mr Corbyn, confirming what he said during this campaign, that he, for one, will not rejoin the shadow cabinet in any circumstances.
I don't think I could with integrity serve in Jeremy Corbyn's cabinet. I've spent the summer saying that I don't think Jeremy Corbyn is a leader of the Labour Party. I don't think he's someone who can unite us or be an effective opponent to Theresa May and the Conservatives. I don't think he can rebuild Labour's reputation in the country. So I won't be serving in Jeremy's cabinet.
Well, one of the reasons that Mr Corbyn almost certainly didn't want a decision last night on the elections for the shadow cabinet and other changes is because he wants to wait until Saturday, and if he is in a very strong position, well, he really can. He has much more clout, much more authority, he will claim, to, for example, insist that party members who largely support him have a say in electing the shadow cabinet and in influencing policy. So there's a lot riding on this. It's not just who is the leader. We expect it to be Mr Corbyn. It's whether the left and Mr Corbyn's allies tighten their grip on power this weekend if he wins and wins big. That will dismay many MPs in the Parliamentary Labour Party, who, of course, want some sort of fight back, want to put the band back together, as Tom Watson calls it. But all the signs are that Mr Corbyn is heading for a pretty overwhelming victory. And if there are going to be some of his critics back in the shadow cabinet, it's almost certainly because Mr Corbyn is prepared to make a few concessions in the name of unity. He's talked about an olive branch, but his critics and opponents in the party are quite sceptical when he talks about holding out an olive branch.
John, it's going to be a very interesting few days. Many thanks indeed. John Craig in West.